Yes, now everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm excited to bring you a closer look at one of Canon's latest cameras, the R6 MK2. This camera has been making waves throughout the photography and videography community since its release, and there's a good reason why. In this video I want to bring you my experience, a real world experience, not just the specifications on this beast of a camera. And stick around to the end where I'll share with you what equipment I use to create my content over on Instagram and YouTube. Plus a little something special for you guys. Now it's important to note that this is my first mirrorless system since having the 5D Mark IV all throughout my photography career. Now with that being said, let's get on with the video. The Canon R6 MK2 boasts a CMOS full frame sensor with a resolution of 24 megapixels, meaning it can perform really well in low light and still give you those crispy, nice images. What does that mean for you? So if you're like me and you shoot in natural light majority of the time, or shooting fast moving objects, or you just love a good blue hour shot in the morning, then this camera is capable of capturing high quality images due to the larger pixels on the sensor. This camera also has built-in 5-axis image stabilization, which is a game changer for people who shoot stills and video. On the software side of things, the R6 MK2 has some fantastic features. One of the standout features is the machine learning autofocus system borrowed from the flagship R3, which gives you fast, accurate autofocus. It's ridiculous. The camera can also shoot 40 frames a second with electronic shutter, meaning taking photos like this is now a dream. So how do I use these features? For me, having a hard-hitting autofocus system compared to the 5D Mark IV has allowed me to compose my shots a bit better and really get the shot that I was looking for. Again, all of these work incredibly well in low light when shooting the dogs, or if I'm shooting an athlete or sports, is now a lot more fun. Okay, so let's quickly talk about some of the specifications on the R6 MK2. It has a 3-inch LCD screen on the back, fully articulating, so it's really helpful if you're going to be doing some vlogging, or if you set up on a tripod to shoot the night sky and capturing those long exposures. The camera also has a dual SD card slot. Now this is great for if you want to store photos on one card and video on the other for organisation purposes, or even if you're out on a shoot for a client and you want a backup because you know it can be important sometimes, then you've got that option also. Additionally, the camera has the capability to shoot up to 4K 60 frames per second or 1080 up to 120 frames a second, and all of this is in C-Log3 12-bit colour. As for the pricing, the camera is currently retailing for around about $2,499 or £2,700, making it a great option for those who want a high-performing camera but doesn't break the bank. I also use this camera with an EF to RF mount, meaning that I can use my previous lenses from my EF camera and mount it onto here, because currently the RF lenses, they are a bit pricey and there aren't any third-party manufacturers just out there yet. I think we're going to be a while away before we do see the likes of maybe Samyang, Sigma and Tamron creating lenses for the R series. Alternatively, Canon do offer a test drive system. Now what this is you can go onto a website, you can find an RF lens you may be interested in but you haven't trialed it out yet. You can book the shortest amount of days, get the camera delivered out to you once you've paid a deposit. Then when you receive it, you get some bangers, you have a play with it, you see what its full potential is, you package it back up, you send it back to Canon, and then once they've received it and they've checked the lens over, they'll give you your money back and you won't have paid anything for that period, because the shortest time allows you free of charge. And if you then start to go over those days, you will pay a premium for each day that you have that lens. Just don't damage it. So where does that leave us with this camera? For me, it was the next step in being able to achieve some of the things that I can't create with the 5D Mark IV. The autofocus system and its reliability makes sure that I get more shots in focus and my video is sharper throughout while shooting. But also it was the next step into video with regards to colour grading and having a wider variety of shooting modes. So if you're like me and you've come from a mirrored system, or you've got a mirrorless which doesn't quite do the things that you want it to do, then I would definitely say this is the camera you should be looking into. Alternatively, there is the Canon R8, which has recently come out since I purchased this camera, and it does have similar features to this while lacking some of the others, but is a better price point. Still full frame as well, which is impressive. Overall, it's reignited my spark with photography and wanted me to get out and create more, because I know I can do more of the creative things that I've wanted to do. Not saying that this camera is going to make you more creative because it does more things. That can come down to learning, but I'll save that for another video. So the little surprise for you guys is down in the description below there will be a link where you'll be able to have a go and edit with some of my raw files taken with this camera, so you can see the sort of performance in the photos. There'll be a few low light in there and a different variety of images, so you can really have a play before you sort of go okay and commit to buying this camera. So a lot of you have been asking over on Instagram what it is I use to make my photos and my reels. So here's just a short list of the things that I use to create most of the things you see on there. Obviously I have now upgraded to the R6 Mark II, and this has actually been a lot of the improvement within it because I now shoot 4K more often, and also I can slow down some of that footage because of the 60 frames per second. Next is the lenses. So my go-to is a 100 to 400. I really love the look that this gives you. The nice compression, it gives you more of a natural look. It can be a harder lens to work with, but overall it's a beast and gives you a real nice crispy image because of the glass on the inside. The next lens I use is the 24 to 35. This lens is a bit of a beast of a lens. It's very fast, it's got some really nice glass in it, it's beautiful for portraits, and also if the sun catches it, it gives that really nice lens flare. But overall it's a bit of a workhorse, and it gives you that little bit of variety with just having the 24 to the 35, just allowing you to be a bit wider if you want to shoot some landscapes, but then a bit closer in if you want to shoot some portraits. And I've probably shot some of my favourite portraits of the dogs with this lens. Finally, the other lens I use is the Samyang 16mm wide angle lens. This one I'll mainly use for stuff like astro or landscape photography, mainly to get those wide vistas in and get a really nice perspective of the thing that you're viewing with the naked eye. It gives you a bit more of a true to life scale, but everything can seem a lot smaller due to the wide angle lens. It's also very fun with the dogs. You can get some pretty funny photos from it too. I use other pieces too, such as the iPad and the iPhone when I'm coming to edit things, when I'm maybe putting together content for stories and all that sort of stuff. So if that's something you would be interested in seeing, let me know down in the comments what it is you'd like to know, whether it's software, what I use them for, and I'll get around to making a video for that as well, guys. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed a closer look at the R6 Mark II and some of the equipment that I do use. If you have any questions at all, please do leave them in the comments below. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, because you know the dogs get a treat. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. So if you're like me and work